Alrighty, everyone, welcome to this Domination gameplay between my Goblin army and Serial Chiller's uh, army of, my goodness, of undead with Cetra the Imperishable. My goodness, look him up there with that giant steed of his. Alrighty, so let's take a look. We're going to slow down here and take a look at these armies and see what's going on. Up on the high ground, he's got his Carrion and the Skeleton Spearman. He doesn't see my Night Goblins or my Nasty Skulkers. They're going to be taking that high objective, or at least that's what they want. On this left-hand side, I definitely knew that he's going to be bringing lots of units, lots of big boys. I know what I wanted was an elite crack force on the left-hand side. And in the front, he can't see Night Goblins. He can see some of those goblins, the regular sword and shield goblins, but they've got a gold chevron. They're up there. They're going to do some work. Followed by some squig hoppers, some normal goblins, and backed up with orc boys and goblins with spears. Should be an absolute great time. We'll take a look at what my enemy's got going on. Yeah, he's doing some, he's about to find my Gobbos for sure. Doing some scouting with his Carrion. Over in the trees, he's got skeleton spearmen, and some Tomb Guard, some Nekahara warriors, and some skeleton archers in the back, with a Necro Sphinx, and Cetra the Imperishable, of course, and a Necrotech. I've been doing lots of goblin outfits, trying to make goblins work. Try and bring as many of them as I can, rather than bringing lots of orcs. Gonna bring lots of skeletons instead. So he may not know what's about to happen here on the left-hand side. I'm gonna funnel over my Durkit Squids onto this side. I really want him to get into this Tomb Guard, so we'll see what I can do. And I've got the attack orders in for a lot of these guys. What do we got going on here? Oh, yeah. Brought a Skeleton Horseman in. I mean, it's going to do some work with these guys, but we'll see what's up. We'll see what's up. All right. Yeah, get that. Oh, my goodness. Just pile-drived. Great example to get these warriors off balance and get my troops into the thick of it. Now, my original idea was to get my forces as close as possible to his. And of course, he's waiting to bring in his big units. Obviously, he can't see everything that's on the battlefield right now. I'm moving some of them out of the way, but here we go. He's got his big boys coming in. And he's taking the high ground. And I know he's taking the high ground, but I decided I want to reinforce it with some cheap units to keep it going. So Moon Howlers, of course, Wolf Riders, and some Spider Riders, because he doesn't have, they're not great units. They're not good units, but there's something. All right, let's get back down to the battle here. Cetra just going to Pound Town on these goblins in the center, and this Necro Sphinx, absolutely. But he's fighting against the 8 pink loonies, they're going to be fighting here till the bitter end. So, got some orc boys with spears coming in exactly as they're intended to, and I've got Skarsnik keeping things on the table, and I'm keeping the rest of my units in reserve. There's no reason to rush them in. It's going to be a long battle, but you know what? Let's keep the pressure up. So we've got the Warlords boys coming in. Oh my goodness, some skeleton chariots. Oh, there we go. Got the skeleton archers with those bad boys there. But as you can see, only a few of our units are actually dealing with the enemy or in the middle of the fight. But I know Cetra's going to be a hard boss to fight on. And Skarsnik is anti-large, but that's asking him a little much. So I decided to reroute some goblins up here to kind of deal with some of these smaller units, and they're just going to get pulverized, and I'm going to be taking Objective 3. Now I've got 1,500 reinforcements waiting in the wings, and I start to bring in the second wave of goblins in. And finally getting some of these bad boys in. Oh, man. Night Goblin, Shamit. Oh, just punted those goblins. Oh, my goodness. But, yeah, this was... I was feeling a little hairy at this point. I saw his reinforcements coming in. A lot of my units are on their way out, or are being pulverized here. And I was thinking about it. Like, I'm up almost 500. I've got a triple cap going on. Maybe it's time to save up some objective points, and we'll see what's going on. So I decide that my mobility is going to be a lot better than his is. So I'm concentrating my forces on areas where I know he's not going to be doing well. So I've got some wolf riders chasing down these skeleton chariots. Fine, I suppose. But I brought down those units from the top objective to come in here and just pile drive onto his skeleton archers, maybe disrupt his skeleton warriors, because that's the best that you can do, is just disrupt his smaller units that need their capture weight. So, you know, this Necrosphinx, goblins are doing work. Like, if we're talking about it, you know, goblins aren't doing bad. So I've got Skarsnik. He's a little overextended all by himself, going up against Cetra the Imperishable. At least he's poisoned. You know, not bad, but Skarsnik's just... oh, man. This is just doing some work. Now, these Carrions are blocking up these reinforcements. They don't last very long. But as you can see, the battlefield is... I've got units in his rear, up front, on the sides... It looks like he's bringing up some skeleton horsemen to contest that. But because his left flank collapsed, I now have these nasty skulkers and warlord boys off into the sides. Now, they don't see these goblins. They see these guys, these orcs, but one of the benefits of having night goblins around is the enemy just doesn't see them as they're making their way across the battlefield. So I've got additional reinforcements coming up to support Skarsnik. He really had a chance right here to just wipe out Skarsnik. I didn't pull him back in time to fight on this objective, but you know what? We're gonna get it going anyway. Nasty skulkers are doing work. Let's take a look back up here. Skeleton horsemen facing off against goblins and nasty skulkers, getting ready to chase them off. He's finally freed up his backyard, but I've got units waiting in the wings. I'm letting them rest, and they're going to be coming back in here in a moment. Because if he wants to have this center objective, I'm more than willing to let him have it. Pull Skarsnik out, let these boys kind of have some time to rest. And I know right now this Casket of Skulls is going to be a problem, so we'll see if I can deal with that later. He forgot about his skeleton chariots. The bully for me. Been picking them off with the Rusty Ara boys. And now we're on the retreat. I recognize, you know, not Goblin Shaman is just leaving them there, but, like, you know what? I'm not taking no for an answer. Skarsnik will beat him down. And... here we go, boys. The big reinforcements. Here it comes. Goblins, orc boys, spearmen. It's all coming in now. And the whole point is I want to tie up all of his forces right here. Oh, yeah. Here we go. So these reinforcements are waiting in the back. He doesn't see them, which is great. I don't see them either until a little bit later. This one goblin here who's stuck it out. And the mosh pit begins. The green tide comes. And suddenly, the center has shifted. And we still have our secondary objective on the side. I'm still controlling this, but he's taking it away from me. But the mass of greenskins coming in is doing the work that I need. And as you can see, I mean, I'm close. I'm only 300 tickets away from winning this. And I know all I've got to do is control at least one objective. So the expansion of all of my allied units on the side here is working wonders. But his terror route is working. And there's only so much that orcs and goblins can do. Having to deal with two giant terror-causing units. You can see right here, these goblins, you know, their leadership is doing great, but only because Skarsnik's keeping them in the fight. But they're starting to rout and chase off a lot of my boys. But unfortunately, his whole army is on one location. And not doing so hot. So I've got some units resting and relaxing still. Hiding in the woods. And doing pretty good. Whenever Skarsnik was getting in some trouble, I would just get him out of there. And I think he starts to see it a little bit too late. Doesn't realize how many units are on here. Lots of goblins. He only sees the goblin wolf riders. And some goblin spears. But look at this. He could, he should be having these units bounce back and forth just between these to rout him off. But he forgets about it. So do I. So I've got my moon howlers down here. He's going to be chasing these boys off. And as you can see, it's too little too late for my enemy. I'm even pulling these units back to try and get him out of here. But as you can see, he just... he could have gone for the triple cap, I think. But he decides not to. So... But yeah, with that, it's a pretty easy victory over my opponent. I think he needs to just be a little bit more mobile. But it was a great fight. Obviously, the Gobbos do it again, and can't ask for much more than that. So, but the carnage and the casualties I take is certainly something else. But that tops it off with the pretty good win. Pretty excellent win. Just not enough. Too little too late for my opponent. Too many goblins to be attacking. Yeah, he's like, wait, there's guys here? And then he's too little too late. Splitting this force up and having one hit each area would have been a lot better. I decided that I'm going to bring in some more units and take this objective again, but it's, yeah. It was a good fight. It was a good battle. And the problem with fighting goblins is that they're relatively inexpensive. You can just call in more. You can always call in more. As long as if you keep your leaders alive, you'll be doing great. So I know I need to hold this objective. Fight against this Necrosphinx. There we go. And there's the win. It was a really great game. Really enjoyed it. My opponent was fierce, but man, just the green tide can really swallow you up. You can see those losses are pretty staggering on my part, but Skarsnik and, you know, just staying alive, getting bodies on. I think my opponent not realizing until it was too late just how many units I actually had on the battlefield, which is just such a great help when you're using Night Goblins. And this was before the update, so I haven't used any of those units yet. But we've got, you know, just small amounts of value for each unit adds up over time. So just really excellent. Just swamped him. You can see 2,000 value with his units. A lot of these just got cut down to size before they could be very effective. And of course, his two biggest units did absolutely fantastic. Here we go. Skarsnik, 935. Yeah, just keeping the boys in the fight, man. I'll tell you, that's all you can do. You know, you can kill 218 goblins, but can you kill another 300? That's what it boils down to. So, excellent fight. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.
Marching through the fields of Georgia green, Union boots and rebel screams, cannon fire and freedom's dream in the land of blood and tears unseen.